This is Mental Model Monday number 10. I've been doing this for 2.5 months now. I don't know if anybody's watching, but I'm still grateful for the opportunity to share some of these ideas, techniques that are so core to who I am, how I navigate the world. And I hope somebody's getting something out of this. If you are, leave a comment. Let me know what you're getting out of it. Maybe what could be changed. I'd really love your feedback. I'm going to do something different for Mental Model Monday number 10. What I'd like to do is, instead of giving you another technique or another way to understand the world, I'd like to make some connections in your brain between all the mental models that I've already shared. I think this is so core to starting to navigate the world, is come up with different maps that relate different concepts and how those maps relate to each other. And start to get a bigger picture, a broader picture of what's happening in systems, in life, in yourself, based on all these different techniques and tools and ways of thinking. So that concept of ideal congruency, to me, is at the core of who I am, of how I understand systems, how I understand myself, how I understand the world, how I try to navigate the world. And just as a reminder, there's that masculine congruency, focused direction, and that feminine congruency, adaptable stillness. One way to understand the difference between a masculinely congruent system and a femininely congruent system is that the masculine congruently system has aligned intentions. It has a broader intention, and the intention of every part is aligned with that intention. Okay? A masculinely congruent person has aligned intentions. Feminine congruency is a system that has let go of intentions, and therefore anything that comes at it, it's not trying to fight it, it just integrates it, goes around it, and it stays the same. It's adaptable. One could even say that it has the intention to have no intentions. It's a little bit of a paradox there. You'd have to work through what that paradox really means and what you mean by those two forms of intention. Okay? Now, an intention, you may not have realized this, but an intention is actually in tension at all times. There's a tension between what is and what could be. And that is what an intention is. An intention is in tension between what is and what could be. And so in a masculinely congruent system, when you create that intention, you pull back. This is what I want, but this is what could be. It shoots forward to where it wants to go. So why laddering, why rooting is also at the core of this idea of recursive congruency, where you have the first person congruency, the system internally, second person congruency, the results of the system, and third person congruency, how the system interacts with other systems. Okay? What why laddering or why rooting does is it gets you up from the part of the system to the broader system, first person, second person, third person, first person, second person, third person. It allows you to see that congruency and get to the higher levels. And you can use that, by the way, to then fix problems at the lower levels. That's the Triz Prism. Okay? You understand the problem in one way, use a technique to understand it in a different way, you understand the solution in a different way, and you understand the problem again. Metaphor is a movement, by the way, where you're creating a metaphor for something that's going on in your life. Same thing. Understand the problem in one way, understand it in a new way through metaphor, solution new way through metaphor, and back to the original understanding of the problem and applying it. And I don't know if you noticed this, but you're doing the same thing in metaphors and movement that you're doing in anchoring. Namely, you're starting with something your logical brain understands. You're going to something your emotional brain understands. You're creating something new with the emotional brain understands. In anchoring, it's you're creating a new emotion, and in metaphors and movement, it's that you're creating a decision, and then you go back to your logical brain and make sure that it's actually there. Okay, my logical brain decides I want something I've anchored. I do the movement, and so I've now I've now created the feeling. So metaphors of movement and anchoring is using the same principle of speaking with your emotional mind and getting it on board. Getting it on board to be congruent, to have an intention that is not intention. So you might have noticed metaphors of movement, what it does is that there are negatives and positives to almost every decision. What metaphors of movement does is it gets rid of the intentions to stop having the negatives. Because almost every decision is going to have negatives. Metaphors of movement says, yes, there are negatives, there are positives. It's okay to feel the negatives. I'm going to get rid of this intention that is creating tension. I'm going to get rid of that intention and just have the positive intention. And I might have the feeling of negativity, but I no longer have the intention to get rid of that feeling. And that's what the metaphors of movement process does. So those are just some of the connections you can start to make between these things. And as you start to make those connections, I hope instead of just viewing these as this tool I use to apply to something, this starts becoming a world view. One world view. You can begin to look at different things and understand different things in different ways. Again, please, feedback. Let me know, what have you liked about these Mental Model Mondays? If you're watching, I don't know if anybody is. What have you not liked about these Mental Model Mondays? What could I change or improve? And I'll catch you next time, guys.